How you feel?
Corporate baddie right here.
Yes,
I feel
yes.
corporate. I feel well spoken. I
So we
feel
don't put
intellectual.
Yes.
And nervous and hungry, but it's calm.
I love this for you.
And so the idea is that we have post-its with questions that are in the room that with lunch was served in, and then the one right behind it. And we're gonna have like 3 sessions of like 5 minutes maybe, and then people are gonna be moving around to different tables at the end of each 5-minute session.
Quite interesting that that's such a young
Start your own club, be your own leader, do this, and that's the culture we live in. And I think that can't change, but also using the community you have around you rather than just like trying to brave it all on your own. I think that I, like throughout the college application process, have been really trying to use my resources around me. Because we're here, we come from places that do have those resources around us that we should be using. I think people who don't take advantage of the resources around them, I think that they're like just wasting them. If you're coming from a place that there's people willing to help you for free or whatever, or you're saying you can get that schooling in a different area, I think you definitely should. So just taking advantage of the resources.
Kind of going off what Simone said, I kind of walked into their table discussion, and she said something that kind of made my eyes come out of my head. She said like competition is kind of like, you just said it again, like it's like the American thing. And my parents are Ghanaian, so they kind of like came here, they picked up that competition, and then they passed it on to me, like it's just the system.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I just think that's interesting that it's not like...
It's American culture. Like if you look around the world, that same competitive aspect is not around the world. Like also, like I have family in Spain, they're very focused on that community not as being as competitive. So it's just, it's the way that the US is.
And Dylan, you have, oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like not trying to get into the top college or not trying like community college and other options, because I feel like a lot of the times like that ultimate goal is like get into that best school that you possibly can, so that's what everyone's working towards. But if you normalize other options and other paths, like going to your local community college or doing other things, or maybe doing like a trade job or something else, then that can help it. And like encouraging other people.
Personally, it feels like if I don't seek out the best college, if I don't strive to be the best in my classes, if I don't get that like perfect A letter grade, my like everything else is just diminished. Like who I am as a person, all of my achievements mean nothing if I can't do something with it, and that's not the case at all. Like I can be a good person and have a B, or like I can be a good person and go to a trade school or wherever, and it's so stigmatized. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So both my parents grew up in Armenia, and they were basically in poverty, and when they came to America, they wanted a better future for me and my sister, so they just like pushed us to be the best as we can. And I feel like if we grew up in America and we taught our kids, we would have they would have an easier life than us, because when my parents came, they didn't know about anything about the American education system, because they were they understood more about the Armenian way. So they always pushed us to be the best, so we could get into the best schools, and we have to take all these AP and honors classes so we could get accepted into the highest schools. But I feel like as we age and we have kids, it'll be easier for them because we'll be more experienced and we have a deeper understanding of how the college system works.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, like I feel like it would help like if we all knew our surroundings a little more than we do, instead of being so self-centered and independent, and then we can also help others with that.
Everybody can't learn the same way. So try to encourage people to learn the same materials, but with different things.
Position of leadership, or some might say power, you forget that, like Ella said, everyone has their own like different lives, and a lot of the times there's a lot of tragic stuff happening in people's lives, and you don't know that because they just show up with a smile on their face the next day. But if educators were aware of that, I think it would help us, the students, a lot better.
My name is Aria. I'm in 8th grade from Chicago, and I think a big, like what teachers can do, they can motivate students more for like to achieve higher, because I know like you have the higher achieving kids that already are good with A's and B's, but then you have the kids that they're fine with getting D's and F's and they don't see a thing wrong with it. So I think if we can get more like administrators or teachers to kind of motivate those kids, say like you can achieve higher, you can strive for better grades, you can do this, you can do that, so that maybe then they will feel like they actually have a say in their learning and that they know that like getting these grades will actually affect them. They will impact their education and in the long term. I think more motivation from teachers could help.
I'm Dion. I want to piggyback off of what Jacqueline said. Oh my gosh, I forgot. She piggybacked off of somebody else. Okay, good, you're good. It's everybody's first time living, and I think that a lot of people forget that. A lot of people have higher expectations because of like where you think somebody else should be. Like I could think that Aria is supposed to be. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I could say that since she's in 8th grade, I would think that she's not supposed to be having as much wisdom as she is, but she's in this room with the rest of us, so we're all in high school, and she sends the same good stuff as us. But like, it's everybody's first time living. Everybody has expectations for other people, so yeah.
I'm Rona, I'm from Maryland, and I'm a junior, and I think we need to emphasize like in education, not forcing students to conform to the system, but instead like adapting the education system to meet the students' needs and adapt on a student-by-student basis.
Hi, my name is Leslie. I'm a senior from here, California. If I were to say one thing to an educator, and when I say educator, I don't just mean like teacher, I mean anyone who plays a role into a young person's life, I would say the best way to learn is from your mistakes. So I would say to trust your student or your child to make mistakes and trust them to make the best decision for themselves, and then be there to support and catch them if they don't.
I'm Amanda. I'm a senior in Maryland, and I would say I feel like educators should allow for more discussion, because in like classes like English and stuff, of course sometimes we have discussion.
My name is Mason. I'm a junior from Ohio. And if I were to tell an educator something, it would be to give more support to those who are falling behind in their classes, especially when it comes to mental health, because kids need to know that their lives and their well-being is much more valuable than their lessons in school.
Hello, I'm Easton. I'm from Ohio and I'm a freshman. If I could say one thing, I would say that kids have an opinion, and I think the teachers need to listen to what the kids are talking about and what they want to happen in their school.
I'm Colton. I'm from Ohio too, and definitely like Easton and Mason said, you know, everybody's different, but just because you're different doesn't mean you matter less than somebody else. I just wish that teachers would not have such a power dynamic to kids to where, like, oh, I'm older than you, I know more than you. Like, our voices are important, and I think the fact that we're here shows educators and administrators that we really do care about how ourselves and others learn. So I just wish that teachers would listen to our voices more and know that, like, we have more power than they think they do.
Hi, my name is Wesley. I'm a freshman in Ohio, and I think one thing that's pretty important is like not underestimating certain students. Like some students might come from like a poorer or maybe not the greatest background, maybe, you know, not bad parents or something like that. And a teacher can be like, oh, I can tell they're already going to fail, and the teachers are just setting them up for failure. This kid comes from a bad background and be the next Einstein. You never know. So I think they should take the same time as they would to be like a higher class or a better background person.
I'm Scarlett, I'm a sophomore from Ohio, and I think that, like, if I would tell teachers something, I would want them to base our learning off of something we're actually passionate about, instead of handing us things that we're gonna have to do, like packets, worksheets, and stuff that we don't actually want to do. But we want to be passionate about what we're learning about, and we'll put so much more into that and use it later in life.
Hi everybody, I'm Nicole and I'm a sophomore in class in California. And something I wish educators would do more, I think maybe just supporting us, especially like it could be helpful for teachers to have high expectations of us, especially if they're like supporting.
They are struggling and the teachers need to know.
Okay. Hi, I'm Holland. I'm a senior from Ohio. Something with me, kind of piggybacking off Ben, when we talk about teachers and having like relationships with them and like being friends with them and stuff, I feel like they also have to be open about different things in their lives along with us, because when I share like with my teachers that I'm struggling and stuff, I feel like they also kind of like have that relationship where they're also telling us how things are, where you have that real aspect of like, I don't know, sometimes like students think that teachers also aren't human and just like, we just don't see them that way. It's just like, they're just a teacher. And I feel like with like, if we both have that connection, then both our learning and their teaching will all improve, so, yeah.
I'm Haley. I'm a freshman and I go to like a school in Ohio. Something I have like is the stuff like out of school stuff. So I am a multi-sport athlete. I know some of us do, or some people do clubs and it takes up a lot of time out of school stuff. And I liked what Ella said with like the extra, like it's hard sometimes to get that work done after school, and I think they should take it into consideration that some people have like stuff to do.
My name is Michelle and I'm from Central Ohio. And one thing that I think could help from teachers and educators is just putting more resources out there. Like I know it differs from state to state and district to district, but I think Jessica said over there, like students are in the midst of like understanding what they're passionate about and what they want to do in the future. So I just feel like even like access to those resources, some of them are hidden. I just feel like that could help students grow.
Hi, I'm Anika. I'm from Central Ohio, and I think what I would like educators to maybe do is take initiative. And what I really mean by that is, I mean, most of the time, like myself and my peers, like we struggle to like, I guess, ask teachers questions, either because we're scared because we think it's a dumb question. But in reality, a question is really never dumb, unless it's like super irrelevant, it has something to do with it. But even if it's a clarification, how is that dumb? Where did that, like, I guess, thought come into our head? It's obviously from like the environment the teacher fosters. So if we're not comfortable to ask a question, like, are they really doing their job? And I think this kind of connects back to what Simone said a bit about like the independence in American culture, where it's like, why do I have to take it and go to the teacher and ask them? Like, I get like teachers won't always know, but shouldn't they be the ones to, you know, take the step to make our grades better? Like, if we struggle, like, why aren't you coming to me and taking action to make my grade better, right? Like, why does it have to be me to go to you? Does that make sense? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Head, shoulders, knees,